All right, let's talk about the SAQ, the short answer question. For a lot of students, this is one of the most stressful parts of any AP history exam. But stick with me because today we're going to demystify the whole thing and I'm going to give you the exact strategy you need to absolutely crush it.
Yeah, this probably hits a little too close to home, right? That feeling of panic when you flip to the SAQ section is super common. But I promise you, it is so much more manageable than you think once you know the secret. And I'm serious. It doesn't have to be a nightmare. The trick is to stop seeing it as this big, scary monster and start seeing it as a simple, repeatable process. A process that cuts through the anxiety and just lets you rack up points. So, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the absolute basics. Then, I'll give you the one formula that works on every single question. We'll see how it works for both types of SAQs, and we'll wrap up by looking at the common mistakes so you don't give away any easy points. Okay, let's dive in. To win any game, you have to know the rules. So let's break down the SAQ by the numbers. First up, this is a big one. The SAQ section is worth a whopping 20% of your total exam score. That is a huge chunk, which means getting good at this is non-negotiable if you want a top score. And you get exactly 40 minutes to get it all done. Now that time is all yours to manage how you see fit. But if you do the math, that works out to about 12, maybe 13 minutes per question. So you gotta be efficient. Pacing is everything. During those 40 minutes, you're going to answer a total of 3 of these short answer questions. But, and this is important, they aren't all the same. Here's how it works. Questions 1 and 2, they're mandatory. Everybody answers them. Question 1 gives you a secondary source, like a historian's argument. Question 2 gives you a primary source, maybe a letter, a map, or a political cartoon. Then you get a choice. You can answer either question 3 or question 4. And these last two have no source at all. They're just testing what you know. Okay, now for the good stuff. The secret weapon. Believe it or not, there is one simple, powerful formula that you can use for every single part of every single SAQ. This is your key. You can call it ACE, answer, cite, explain, or some teachers call it TEA, topic sentence, evidence, analysis. It's the exact same thing. It's a 3-step dance. 1. Directly answer the question. 2. Cite a specific piece of historical evidence. And 3. Explain how that evidence proves your answer. You do this for part A, you do it again for part B, and you do it again for part C. Every single time. And just look at the difference this makes. The vague answer on the left, it just kind of states the obvious. The horse-created changes. Yeah, no kidding. That gets you 0 points. But the specific answer on the right, it's beautiful. It aces it. It answers directly, it cites specific impacts, more mobility, better bison hunting, more warfare, and by doing that, it explains the connection. That, right there, is a point-winning answer. Okay, let's put this formula into practice. We'll start with those first 2 questions, the required ones, the ones that give you a source to work with. Now, this is probably the most important piece of practical advice I can give you. Do not read the source first. You will waste so much time. Always, always, always start by reading the questions, A, B, and C. Then, look at the attribution. Who wrote it, when, get that context. Then, and only then, do you read the source itself. Because now you're hunting for specific information. You're reading with a purpose. And you've got to understand the pattern here. Part A is almost always going to ask you something directly about the source. You'll need to paraphrase it, never ever quote it. But parts B and C are where you really flex your history muscles. They demand that you bring in outside evidence, facts, events, people that are not in the document to connect what you're seeing to the bigger story of history. All right, let's talk about that choice you get to make, question 3 or question 4. With these, there's no source to hold your hand. This is a pure test of your historical knowledge and how well you can articulate it. So the very first thing you have to do is find that key task verb in the prompt. What is it actually asking you to do? If it says describe, it just wants you to say what happened. If it says explain, it's looking for the how or the why. And if it says compare, you need to show how things are similar or different. Answering the wrong skill is a surefire way to lose the point.
For these no-stimulus questions, precision is your best friend. Get right to it. Answer the question in your very first sentence. If it asks for one reason, just give your best one. Don't throw a bunch of stuff at the wall. And be hyper-specific. Don't just say, the economy grew. Tell me how it grew. The construction of the Erie Canal connected eastern markets to western farms. See? That's the kind of detail that gets you the point.
We are in the home stretch now. Let's finish up by talking about the easy mistakes that cost students points they really should have earned. Let's make sure that's not you.
Okay, look closely because these are the things you just can't do. Number 1, never quote the source. 2, don't just summarize it, you have to answer the question. 3, make sure your evidence is from the correct time period. 4, avoid being vague. And maybe the biggest sin of all, just dropping in evidence without explaining it. That's forgetting the E in ACE, and it will cost you the point every time. So when it all comes down to it, just remember this. The SAQ is not an essay. They are not grading you on beautiful prose or complex sentences. It's a surgical strike. It rewards clarity, precision, and a simple, repeatable formula. So there you have it. You have the blueprint. You know the formula. The question now isn't if you can do this, it's what are you going to focus on first. Pick a topic, find that specific piece of evidence, and practice acing it. You've got this. Now go get those points.